Emma, hello. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
So you're one of the first people that I've met that has a college degree in medicinal plant research. Did I get that right?
Yeah, yeah.
From an Ivy League college, no less, from Brown. So I was surprised that was even a thing. That was an option. Can you tell me a little bit about how you came to choose that as a degree and what you actually studied during school?
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I'll say that Brown is really cool in that it lets you study basically whatever you want. I knew a girl who studied aesthetics. That was her major,
Hmm.
aesthetics. And so I came to find medicinal plants and came to discover that I could actually formulate a degree around it after I took a freshman seminar called Botanical Roots of Modern Medicine and just really fell in love with the pharmacognosy and pharmacokinetics of these medicinal plants, especially through the ethnobotanical perspective, studying the way in which indigenous people actually would consume these plants and prepare them, and how they even came to figure out if you combine this plant with this other plant, then you actually get this really powerful psychedelic hallucinogenic experience that
Uh-huh.
then's used in various healing rituals. And so after taking that freshman seminar, I approached the professor of that seminar, who is a wild and wacky human. And he was so down to be my mentor in developing this concentration where we really looked at the different ethnobotany of various medicinal plants. I worked a lot in the university greenhouse, actually working with the medicinal plants themselves. And so was lucky enough to get approved by the Dean of Bio to make it an official concentration of study.
Wow. Wow. And yeah, what was your sort of coursework then over the next few years?
We looked a lot at ethnobotany, like I said, the way in which indigenous peoples use medicinal plants, specifically in the South American region. So we studied a lot of the different tribes who would use ayahuasca specifically, and looking at kind of the consumption of DMT through ingestion and the different plant preparations that would allow that to happen and take effect. I also looked at specifically the secondary compounds found in medicinal plants. And I feel like that really primed me for later working with cannabis. I really wanted to formally study cannabis
Hmm.
in the university, but of course I couldn't. I was barred from doing so for legal reasons. But just learning about different alkaloids and terpenes and flavonoids and different polyphenols and phytonutrients really helped to prime me to better understand the cannabis matrix and all of the wonderful compounds that are present there.
Interesting. So it sounds like a combination of being a historian and a biologist with what you studied. And from what I understand, you're also going to soon be attending graduate school for something similar. Is that right?
I am, yeah. So that's a new development, but I'm really excited. I was recently accepted into the Masters of Science program at Thomas Jefferson University, where I'll be studying medical cannabis science and business. So I'll really get to look at pharmacokinetics of cannabis and the different therapeutic applications of cannabis, as well as tie in some business and some financial stuff.
Uh
And
huh.
yeah, I'm really excited.
So you're an educator now, and you do some consulting work. What was your intent in studying that in undergrad, and now do you have different intentions going into a grad program and coming out of that as well?
Yeah, definitely. So my intent in studying kind of medicinal plant research, I also did the pre-medical sciences track. I really thought I was going to go to medical school, and then quickly realized that the way in which we've set up medical school in the States isn't exactly for me in terms of the more rigid allopathic structure of it all. And so I after graduating from my undergraduate program, I went on to do some oncology research to just like further prove to myself that, okay, I don't want to go to medical school. And it did just that. It proved to me that I did not want to be in that solely allopathic Western medicine world. It just didn't jive or didn't really interest me as much. So then I thought, okay, naturopathic school, I want to do that. And that's what brought me out west to Portland, Oregon, because it's one of the few places that actually has an accredited naturopathic school and program. But I serendipitously arrived a month before the early onset of adult use sales in Oregon, cannabis sales, and I needed a job really badly, and so I took a job at a dispensary, I wanted something more in research. I wanted to go into cannabis research and really begin looking at these compounds, especially since that was my background up until that point. But unfortunately, just there was hardly any opportunity in that sector. So I thought, okay, I'll try a different avenue. Got hired at a dispensary. It was like, I'll be here for 2 months max while I get my feet on the ground, and ended up staying for 2 years and really focused in on what I see as this opportunity for education and training in the cannabis space, specifically for bud tenders, for those retail professionals who, at the time when I joined the industry in 2015, there was absolutely no training. And so we would step onto the sales floor almost blind and have to not only interface with patients and customers who are asking questions that doctors couldn't even answer, but also having to represent the entire industry behind us as well, and having a wealth of product knowledge and information, all while in a fast-paced retail environment. And so I, with my background, was like, you know what, this is a problem that I feel like I can tackle. And so I really dove into the world of education and creating educational resources that were accessible to industry professionals as well as customers and lay enthusiasts.